Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Only the second sponsor we've ever wanted to work with. Yay! And if you wait to the end of this, you can save some money and get yourself your own Squarespace thing. Like, I need to learn the words for stuff. I have conducted a human experiment beyond the realms science has ever explored before. I've gone places that people have not dared go at any point before. I tweeted the word soccer. They're coming. I'm not saying I deserve some sort of Nobel Prize. I'm not saying that I'm one of the bravest men that's ever lived for tweeting it, but somebody needed to do it. My goal in existing in this space, one of my many goals in existing in this space, as an American that talks about soccer or football or foosball or football or whatever the heck you call it, is to normalize the fact that I grew up in 350 million Americans and about 25 million Australians and about half of Ireland, about half of South Africa, New Zealand. All these people grow up calling it soccer. And then when they trip and fall and sneeze and say it on social media, they get tarred and feathered and thrown into the street. That's what we're crusading against, and that's why I'm sad, because I've realized that despite releasing this video, despite talking about it on my Twitch stream probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, you can check out that stream down in the description, by the way, if you want to hear this again in excruciating detail. There are just a ton of people that seem impervious to understanding that you can say it and you're not actively attempting to spite people. So I've tweeted out the word soccer. And there were some people that there were some people that had been there for those conversations that understood them, and those are the people that get the Zealand's stamp of approval. And I wouldn't be arguing for it. I wouldn't be fighting for the acceptance of the word if it was illogical, if there wasn't something that made sense about the fact that that's why we call it soccer, right? And I'm fully aware that in the comments of this video, the same people that went after this tweet will show up again. Once again, impervious to logic, convinced that the use of the word implies that you have no respect or understanding of the sport, which I have spent years of my life living in. Alas, the people that agreed with me, like, thank you, Brandon. This I can agree with you on. I literally just tweeted the word soccer and people just interpreted the whole argument from it, which was kind of funny. But thank you. Right? At 50-50, we've got the Irish guy saying, you know what? Half of us call it soccer sometimes because we have Gaelic football, because you're in the British Empire fringe. Everybody in it, Aussie rules, American football, like everybody in it's got their own version of football. And then soccer's the word you use to delineate the association version. Pilkijam eloquently saying it. When association football was codified in 1863, it was the most widely played game of its kind in England, but it wasn't the only one. Rugby football was a variation. That's before we even talk about it moving to the colonies. But very quickly, we got into the tears. Nickel-esque. No. Football. And there were a lot of people that were in this section with the footy, foosball, just throwing the word back, because I don't know, it was some sort of allergic reaction. And then there's the rock solid bulletproof argument. If association football becomes soccer, shouldn't American football become Merrick? The premise of it being called soccer is that something else is called football. So not only does it fall apart there, but then, do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a football that you've created and there's been dubbed football, and then the other versions of the sport then get their nicknames. Rugby, soccer, football in the United States. But that's an attempt at a rock solid argument. Even if it makes me sad, it is an attempt at a rock solid argument. I will give you that. But we're about to venture into a whole other world where logic and reason and the lack thereof makes me sad. Because I love you guys, but come on. Mr. Shannon, this is unacceptable behavior. I tweeted one word. Please refrain from posting idiotic posts like this. Halfhorn, I know you. You're on the streams all the time. We need to have a chat. Not really. I'm not about to get violent over this, but I'm not. Jeez, Reece with the zooms, chill. But really, you're on the streams all the time. I know you've heard the explanation, and yet you willfully ignore it. This is what we're crusading against. Don't you dare say the S word. Soccer. 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 You ever been to the United States? I mean, that's a stupid question because most people from the United States have never been anywhere else, right? I'm aware of that. I know that. We're loathsome. I get it. I understand that. Okay, I live here in the loathsomeness. I bathe in it every day. I wake up and grease my hair with burgers. Wow, that had been stored up for some time. But there's this feeling like the S word. Like it's said to spite. It's like, because Americans do so many things to spite other cultures. The word soccer is this designated word to spite other people. And it's just not true. I didn't know anybody else called it anything else until I was like 14 years old. You just kind of discover that on accident because it's soccer. The sport is like intrinsically understood, always called, not like in Ireland, right? Not like in South Africa, not like even in, I would say, Australia and New Zealand, where it can be referred to as football. And you're like, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. In the United States, if you do that, blank stares. And I'm talking about like on a soccer field, right? Like, oh, you play footy? They'll be like, what the f? Soccer moms would probably try and get you deported or something. What I mean to say is there's no other understanding of the word. It's not like the English call it football. Can you believe that? We're gonna call it soccer. That like there wasn't a meeting of all 350 million Americans where they just went, yes, the S word, it's in. But people just act like that's it. Like, please don't say that word. What if I offended your family with my science experiment? I mean, I don't even actively wave it. I'm not sitting there waving the flag. I'm just asking to live in a world where if I make a YouTube video and I say soccer and I don't say soccer/football, somebody isn't like, that's all I want. A little lightheaded. Why? Whew. You woke up in need of some unfollows, right, Zealand? From you? Maybe. But I mean, you stay followed. Like, we could still be friends. But what are you doing? Come on. We have an interpretive idea with leg sphere. I'm personally in favor. No. LOL. You take that back. I'm sorry, Mom. Just walls of this, and you're just like, what is wrong with the world? I could tell you that there are thousands of starving children somewhere in the world, because I'm sure there are, and I would get a significantly smaller reaction than tweeting the word soccer. I could be like, donate money to this cause. Starving children, here, now, you can help them. 100% confirmed. And you'd just be like, okay. Not all of you. I'm assuming a lot of you are good people. In your heart of hearts, I think everybody's a good person. But I got more people up in arms with this than I would have with that. That's wrong, right? Bruh. Oh, all right, so you play Soccer Manager. No, because the game's made in England. I get it. It's not even marketed for the United States. The fact that I ended up playing it it's like a chemical accident. Typical Yank. Well, first of all, from the South, definitely not a Yankee, even though I understand that there's like that generalization. It's like offensive on multiple levels for me. Yeah, I also make sure to distance myself from like the crazy 75% of the South. I'm not a Yank, you know. I'm toes in the water, in the sand, Florida Southerner. Give me a beer on a beach. That's where I want to be. Keep me out of New York City. Thank you very much. And I live in New York right now. Shut up. Delete. You actually can't make this up. The dude's cover photo is an American. He has GeoFC in his bio. He's got Gio Reyna on the cover of his Twitter page. Like, irony. Yeah, Gio Reyna was born in England because his U.S. national team father was playing for Sunderland at the time. So don't even start with me on that. Roman Reigns giving me the stank face. Yeah, you didn't even think I knew who that was. Nice try. This is objectively funny because this is kind of what this experiment ended up being. We fished and we caught. We did. Get that caterpillar mustache out of here. I saw somewhere the UK is the only predominantly English-speaking nation in the world to call soccer football, which would be hilarious. It would be hilarious, especially because it's true. So, I mean, you don't actually touch the ball with your foot. You touch it with your shoe or your socks. Blocked. Reported. Don't worry. I roasted him back. I'm becoming a bit of an aggressive tweeter. Somebody please restrain me. Then there's this guy, football. I said, what's this? Obviously. A sport where you use your foot to kick a ball. Football. I describe where the word comes from. Depends where you're from, I guess. It's known more as football in the UK than elsewhere. You honestly think I don't know that? God, this is the world that I live in. You're dead to me. You also still follow me. This meme basically describes me on Twitter now. I'm serious. I need to be stopped. This isn't even a picture of the clown. Oh, I'm sorry, Elle. I'm really sorry. This basically sums up how I felt reading this, how you felt maybe reading this. Hopefully this video helps smash a lot of the stereotypes about it, while also making fun of the internet. And part of it is actually going to try to make the world a better place too, because I actually found a charity that you can donate to help feed those thousands of starving children and starving people during COVID. If you are doing better than most people and you don't want to react virulently to me using the word soccer, but instead would like to help other people that are struggling more, the United States actually has some seriously impoverished areas. In one of the charities that is approved by Forbes, I'm always very nervous about donating to a charity that's like not approved, that like Forbes ranked as the best charity to help feed those who are starving in the poverty-stricken areas in the United States, is called Feeding America. I'm going to put the link in the description, and if you want to throw a few dollars that way because you want to help make the internet a better place where you can be motivated more so by that than the word soccer, I'm sure some kids would appreciate it because food is great. And then there's companies that help pay for us to be able to do awesome things like that. And companies like Squarespace, the sponsors of today's video. You've probably seen a Squarespace ad before. It's a company that gives you a powerful and beautiful interface to create your own website. Not only can you connect with your audience, but you can also generate revenue through members-only gated content that's not only good for you, but it's also good for the members, able to provide them with a bunch of extra cool stuff that you wouldn't be able to produce otherwise without the money coming in. You can manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights all on one like very easy to use platform from your side. And this isn't just me blowing smoke. Squarespace is actually what we use to get the podcast websites up and running. It offers excellent integration to social sites, which is great for us because we use a lot of them. It has extensions that you can use to increase your kind of e-commerce reach so that I can give Reece a raise. And it does, of course, have great advanced analytic tools. So if you want to use Squarespace like millions of people already have, and like I do for the websites that I use, there's a link down in the description. You get 10% off after a free trial with that link. So go grab it.